Denver Broncos Mile High View, no commercials, no bullshit. Colby, we're going to talk about breaking down the Cleveland game and segueing that into the former Redskins. And we're going to talk about everything in between. Developments with, who was it that said draft a linebacker? I don't know. Some moron. Some guy who doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I'm out.
Probably the same guy who talked about getting Darby, but when nobody was talking about corners either. Yeah. I don't know. It's probably some guy that doesn't know what he's talking about. So you want to talk about, when I did this, again, when I do these film studies, they're different than what a lot of people are used to. It's not just a quarterback receiver, receiving tree kind of a thing. So it's I have specific points. I leave a lot on the floor, a lot of video on the floor. One thing that I just highlighted in the music part of it, I like to be different, and did you like the little jingle that I had for that? I showed Garrett Bowles, just being schooled, and this was going on a lot. And so I want you to discuss Garrett Holds. We call him Garrett Holds. Missed the greatest, all-pro left tackle. Although I showed in the video their left tackle taking 2 Broncos out. One guy taking 2 Bronco defenders out. One left tackle. How come we can't get that from our very own Garrett Holds?
So, Garrett Bowles is a player that I've been very critical on because I thought the Broncos passed up on Ryan Ramczyk, who is an all-pro right tackle at his position. One of the
real.
Yeah. He's the top 3 tackle at his position with the New Orleans Saints. Like, you have a buddy down there that knows him very well. It's the sheer fact that the stupidity in STR and that organization that they really do believe that Garrett Bowles is this all-pro level left tackle. I said, don't give this man top 5 left tackle money. That's what he got, basically. And he's basically a Justin Simmons on the offensive side of the ball, in my opinion. I think he is a overpaid player. I think he is an overrated player. And like you said, I sent you video of I believe it was a Browns fan, and it was consistently he was getting away with hold after hold after hold. And his position alignment at the left tackle position was very 2017 through 2019-esque. It was really bad, and we're reverting back to the old Garrett Bowles that we are accustomed to knowing, who whines on the sidelines to his coaches, a.k.a. Mike Munchak. I think that he doesn't have the mental capacity to, if he gets beat on one play, he can't bounce back on the next play. I think once he gets beat, he just loses his shit. And then I think that his position alignment with his hands, his hand placement, and his feet work are less to be desired.
Can I say something here real quick? There's a cultural problem going on. Garrett Bowles is a microcosm of a bigger picture. Garrett Bowles knows that he's like Elway's little boy. He sits under his arm. Nothing's going to ever happen to me. That's why I can whine. And right after the game, the very next day, Friday, STR is saying how wonderful he did. How wonderful. So the problem is we have players that aren't doing good, and they get coddled. That is a change in culture that needs to happen. And that's why I'm here. We need to stop. We need to knock that bullshit off. We need to call it out. Thank you, Cleveland Browns, for providing the film specifically on Garrett Bowles. I linked that with the film study. It's part of the film study. I also linked Kurt Warner too as part of the film study. All this is part of the film study. We're not bullshitting. We're not. Let me ask you this question. We can get back to Garrett Bowles, but let me ask you this question. STR taking Dove Valley talking points paid for online platforms, patting themselves on the back, smugly looking down at us. What do they look like now? Because they sold everybody as Troy Aikman said, not us, Troy Aikman said it, sold Broncos country a bill of goods. How do these platforms look now?
I think that they're running, trying to find whatever they can to put more bullshit out there, but I think it is becoming less and less with those bullet points that they're trying to provide to the fans out there, the online platforms and STR. I think they're trying to pick up a rock and see what's under it so they can provide it to the fan base in Denver Broncos country. They're losing shit. They're losing their shit. They hate that me and you are becoming right week after week after.
Yeah! Yeah! F you. F you. Exactly. Yeah, you guys made your bed. So I don't want to hear your fucking bullshit. But I want to tell you this. This is something I've noticed. There is a certain percentage of their little core audience hanging on to still everywhere, please. You mental gymnastics, the whole thing. But I think overall they've lost a lot of their they're not. I'm reading like people like there was one comment that I just loved. It was classic. And this is the extreme, as they said, how do you guys, it's amazing that you guys, talking about the online platform, the paid for, they said, it's amazing how you guys can do this and flip burgers at In-N-Out at the same time. That was a classic comment. And they got all kinds of thumbs up for that one. They're a bunch of clowns. I think they've lost it. They sold them the bill of goods. They obviously were bullshitting. And, we've had people come and said, I hate to say it, but you guys were the ones that were right. So we can go back to Garrett Holds if you want. His poor footwork technique.
I think go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying, the Browns fans had to come out and say, what the fuck, guys? And not, yes, granted, I'm sure they got away with some holding, but it wasn't on the monumental level that Garrett Holds was doing it.
They have a guy in Jedrick Wills, who I'm a big fan of, coming out of Alabama. Him and Tristan Wirfs are my top two tackles in the class that they had a bunch of tackles coming out. I really wanted the Denver Broncos to draft one of them, but, they were gone before we could even pick. But I wish they could trade. I wish they could have traded up to pick one.
That's not the Elway. That's not the Elway.
The Buccaneers traded up one spot before Denver to pick Tristan Wirfs. I mean, that should tell you something. And he's a top 5 right tackle. You guys cannot sit there and tell me with a straight face that Rashawn Slater and Garrett Bowles are on the same level. Rashawn Slater's a better player than Garrett Bowles is right now. I don't care what you have to say.
Garrett Bowles has always been a bust. He will always be a bust.
Yes, he's a Paxton Lynch. He is a, all these other players. It's just the John Elway culture in this organization has really it's been just mentally exhausting to see good players leave and bad players rewarded for shitty play.
That didn't come from us. There are other former Bronco players who have brought this up.
You linked it on that Apple podcast with Cody Rourke.
And yep. As it's there for anybody to listen to. It's still there. You got Mr. I see a Rogers. With his binoculars. You don't tell me that this guy, you're going to tell me he doesn't exist, is just, it's asinine. Where is that bad bill of goods coming from? It's coming from all the way to the top. Now, I want to talk about Justin Simmons. Because it just, what the deal was, you're the one who's really brought it up first to me. And then I got more and more intrigued to really look at the film. And remember at the beginning of the season, I said, where is this guy? He is nowhere. I call him nowhere man. And then I show this one play, and it typifies everything. All season long, I've seen the receiver that's going to make the big play go buzzing right past him. And he goes and follows a halfback. Then I show, well, here's what a safety is really supposed to do. And I show the Cleveland, the guy that intercepted Bridgewater. I said, why is it we can't get that out of our safety? We're paying all this money. He's busy chasing halfbacks. Can you explain that to me?
So I have a perfect reason, because Elway, I think, is trying to put out his defense. And Fangio cannot use the players that he has on this roster to best fit his scheme because the players on this defense aren't capable of fitting the type of scheme that he wants. Because I'm going to continue to say this, okay? I'm going to continue to bring this up, and I've been the only Bronco fan out here saying this, okay? Bronco and analyst guy. He wanted to go get Adrian Amos, and he would have taken over for Justin Simmons, in my personal opinion. And he couldn't get him. Elway said, no, go after Kareem Jackson. Kareem Jackson's been a good player. He's struggled the past 2 weeks, but I think he's a better safety than Justin Simmons, in my personal opinion. But the thing with Justin Simmons is, me and you've been talking about this. You really think that he could catch up to a guy like that going deep past him like a Henry Ruggs and everybody else? A Marquise Brown, who he obviously exposed, and the Nick and Cecil show were trying to freaking spin it that it wasn't Justin Simmons' responsibility. I don't want to hear that crap. Okay.
No, that again, yes, that is coming from John Elway. They are taking those talking points.
Elway's trying to protect his top 3 paid safety, and that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, anybody with a brain can say you don't run after halfbacks. Did they specifically point to that play?
Yes, the Marquise Brown.
I knew they would. But anybody with a brain in their head, that is not where you want. That's not Fangio. Where did Fangio ever do that? Did they ever answer that question? Did they ever say, oh, if you looked at Chicago, he did this? No, he never.
This is something that me and you, he used Eddie Jackson like he used Kareem Jackson, yes, but he used Adrian Amos always back there. He never brought Adrian Amos down to the box to cover a halfback.
Yeah, that's the part that you're not telling me. I'll give you credit. I can't even listen to those two because they're so bad. They are so bad. I can't. It's unbearable. They're that bad. Those two. That is no explanation. If you're paying top money for Justin Simmons to run after halfbacks, in what world does that make sense? In what world does that make sense?
Who was the man that said that he wanted to get Zaven Collins for that very reason, to do the halfback thing? Oh, that's right, this man right here. But we can't get that. We have, we're going to bring up Kenny Young in a little bit, but strictly talking about Justin Simmons. Justin Simmons, I've been saying it for the past 2-3 years, and ever since he's coming out of college, I knew this day would come because I said right when they drafted him, like, yeah, this guy's going to be built up to be John Elway's little puppet. And he looks like, it's the sheer fact that people can't realize that Justin Simmons on film, and you've brought it to the people, that Justin Simmons he's not a good safety. He can't even be a third safety on a team.
I know, he's bad. He's really bad. And here's the thing. This is a bigger issue. If you make this guy who's horrible your spokesperson, what does that tell all the other players? What does that tell them?
What does that tell people? What does that tell you, like players like Mika Fitzpatrick, who was talking shit at the Broncos sideline?
Yeah, but I'm asking this question specifically. I need people to think about this. You're on the Denver Broncos as a player, and you're seeing good players go, and then you're seeing needs. The coaches want players they can't get, and then they elevate players who can't play to be the spokesperson. What does that say to all the rest of the players?
I'll tell you, Von Miller wants out of here.
Yeah, that segues us to why. Well, yes, of course he wants out of here, and that's why they're grooming the yes man.
Yep, getting the articles out there.
And then this also breaks off to something else. What coach in their right mind, if they're paying any attention, if they're going to take a job with the Denver Broncos, you better start doing your homework, because you'll be another coach left out to dry like all the other coaches. It's either Elway's way or the highway. And that brings us to this linebacker they just got. I was pounding the table to bring in Zaven Collins. Say even our number one linebackers aren't very good, and they need to start with the culture. But here's the thing: You really need to take a look more at the Rams. I'm telling you, Colby, you've got to take a look at the Rams when you look at this situation. Why did they let Kenny Young go? Why did they do it? Because they have a different culture. They have a lady that owns the football team. They've got a real owner. And she is a hands-off type of an owner, which I think she's a better owner than a lot of them. Her approach is hands-off, and she's finally got some people with a brain in their head running the Rams organization. So what do the Rams do? They're a team that's into developing. They're a developing team. So they have linebackers, they have depth, something called depth and development. What is it the difference between the Denver Broncos organization and starting at the top, you have a meddling owner, you have a lady that's hands off, okay, number one. That trickles down to a culture of we're going to bring in people that are good that we can develop. So when it comes time to cut a tie with a Kenny Young, we still have players that can step in here. What you have with the Denver Broncos the contrast that is we have the Band-Aid culture, the Elway Band-Aid, see a name, I got another one. And that's what the difference between the Rams and what they do and the Denver Broncos and why the Denver Broncos will never be a good team until that cancer at the top is removed. Go ahead.
No, I agree with your whole assessment there. I think you're dead on. They had a guy. That's why they let Kenny Young go. They had a guy that was waiting in the wings, getting developed. He's a young player, and they're just going to ship off Kenny Young. That's why they got what they got, a late-round pick, because they knew that Kenny Young it's just this is something that I've been trying to understand. People, why do you give Elway so much leeway for moves that make no sense? You understand we could have Quentin Nelson and Rashawn Slater and Jedrick Wills or Tristan Wirfs on that line, yet you guys want Alexander Johnson and Josie Jewell to be the next Al Wilson and Randy Gradishar.
They're not. They're not even in that universe.
That level, in the sheer fact
in that universe.
The sheer fact that STR is pushing out there that Alexander Johnson is the next Al Wilson. You see, that is something that Elway just cannot wrap his head around. His player personnel moves make no sense on a GM basis. It's just maddening. And I cannot wait till hopefully we get a real owner to get this shit fixed, because the depth on this team is crap. I tried telling you guys into this season, no one wanted to listen to me. Everybody thought I was an Alex Jones, and I got so much hate for just wanting to get an offensive lineman for once.
Which the Tampa Bay Buccaneers took your advice, and went up and got. And then you're going to ask Aaron, I see a Rodgers, back the harpoon. It ain't going to happen. You got a brain in his head.
So, STR, the online platforms, and the fans out there, did you guys watch that game on Thursday night with Green Bay and Arizona? And what was the one distinct difference between the Green Bay Packers and the Denver Broncos? Yeah, that offensive line is light years ahead of ours. And
night and day.
Why would Aaron Rodgers want to come here behind a crappy offensive line with Garrett Bowles, Dalton Risner, Lloyd Cushenberry, Graham Glasgow, and Bobby Massey? And hold on. There's a guy there that we let go and decided to give the truck full of money to a guy named Jawan James, and we let Billy Turner go. And how is he doing in Green Bay?
You're just a talking head in the dark. You don't know what. So let me tune into sports talk radio. I'll get all I need to know, because I'm so fucking smart.
Yep.
It's just it's lunacy is what it is.
Oh, and we're so depleted in the receiving core. There's a guy over there named Jawan Winfrey. You remember him? who was playing well on Thursday Night Football. And wait a minute, we don't have depth at the receiver position and the lines and the linebacking core. Oh, okay. Yeah, we have Trinity Benson, Jawan Winfrey, and Billy Turner playing really good football right now.
Well,
But,
you get rid of them. If you're up there, if you're running from the top, you get rid of them so you can bring your names in.
Yeah, and
Von Miller, got your names.
And Von Miller will be the latest who will get.
He'll go. Yeah. Von Miller is. Yeah, he's had it with this.
I feel very confident that he's going to get traded. I think he asked for a trade. That's why Fangio was late to the podium. I think behind the scenes they're trying to find a suitable trade partner for him. That's why they brought in these linebackers. Weatherly. Serious. This doesn't make any sense.
Who called this from the start? Who called this from the start? Well, we did. We called this from the start. Yes, of course he's going to go. Of course I mean, how can you put up with this clown show any longer? How can you do it? Let me ask you this. If we had the Rams owner who's hands off, you can make fun of her all you want. She's hands off. How would Fangio have been? How would all of this been different with Fangio? Strictly running the head coaching.
Oh, it looked. This defense would look 10 times.
I don't even know Shermer. I don't think Shermer would even be here.
No, I think he would have kept Perillo.
Yeah, yes, possibly, yes. I think you're right. I think that Scangarello and Flack, all that conflict was with Elway.
Yeah, I don't think it was with Fangio.
Fangio's just like, okay, I'll have to sign off.
Yeah, like you said, because he's the defensive coordinator. He's not the head coach.
But and then it was Sports Talk Radio. I said that day one. I said, you're hiring him to be the defensive coordinator. You're not hiring him as a head coach. Because we know, and this is what member Sports Talk Radio said, yeah, we'll have to hold Elway accountable if this doesn't work out. Oh, yeah. We didn't say that. Play the tapes. That was all they talked about for like weeks on end.
And they were also talking about weeks on end and how this team was going to go vertical last year, 20-plus yards. We didn't say that. We didn't say that online platform.
Roll the tapes. They're lying to you once again. That's all they do. They lie to you all the time.
Yeah.
It's no wonder that a lot of their listeners are now disfranchised from that, disenfranchised from those people. And now, like you said, they're like coming up with spin like, oh, that's not what Justin Simmons is paid to do. Really? You're not just a linebacker on a halfback? Really? You're going to tell me that? You think I'm that stupid? Well, obviously Cecil Lammey and his butt partner over there think you're that stupid.
Yeah,
they think you're that stupid.
They also think that you're stupid when you talk about Draymond Jones getting double teamed.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he's double teamed. He's nowhere. He's a nowhere man. He's another nowhere man.
Just like Simmons. Where is he?
Exactly. I've showed you where all four linemen are getting double teamed. I showed you where it's hat on a hat, and you just can't justify that when I show you the film. I show you Cleveland's total domination at the line.
It was bad.
It was really bad.
I told you that it was going to be one in the trenches, and nobody out there was talking about that except for me and you.
If you would have had, in that Jacksonville game, I'm telling you, if you would have had a dozen other quarterbacks, you throw Case Keenum in there.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been a completely different game.
Yep.
But it's like, anyway. So you were watching the former Redskins, team with no name. So tell me about team with no name. What do you see with team with no name?
Oh, the Broncos offensive line better come to play tomorrow, because you think that last week was bad in terms of interior play of that defensive line. You have another thing coming. They have four guys. They have four deep on their interior. Jonathan Allen, DeMar Payne, Matt Adonis, and Shal Tuttle. Four deep at their interior, and that makes Montez Sweat and Chase Young eat. Okay, just to bring up an analogy, the Denver Broncos. This game, I believe is going to be another trenches game. I believe that full-heartedly. The offensive line for the Redskins I believe is better than ours. I believe that. I believe that.
Yeah,
That
duh. Duh.
yeah,
Whose
obviously.
offensive line isn't?
Yeah. And the Redskins defensive line, I'm telling you right now, before everybody gets on this on my ass about this, that interior defensive line is one of the best in the National Football League, in my personal opinion. And they have a guy named Jack Del Rio, who, he left Denver because of the rift that he had with Elway. What a shocker!
Who had a riff with who?
Elway.
Oh no, couldn't have been. Couldn't have been like Gary Kubiak.
No, and they have a defense where they're very multi-dimensional. They have linebackers. They have a linebacker named Jamie Davis, who I wanted. They got in the first round. Cole Hookham. And, their corners aren't as good as they used to be with Darby back there, but, they have the better Fuller brother. They have the better Fuller brother.
Here's the model. If you're stout up front, you're the real deal up front, your corners don't have to be the top corners. They just need to be just above serviceable, just above, so go ahead.
No, you're good. But I just wanted to put a point out there. They have Kendall Fuller, who's the better Fuller right now than Kyle Fuller. They're brothers. He's the better Fuller right now.
He's the better Fuller.
Yeah, he's the better Fuller. And they have an okay safety core with Bobby McCain and Landon Collins, but everything is predicated on that defensive line to get interior put. And I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, this game, I think, is going to get ugly. I think it's going to be.
Well, he thinks this game is going to get ugly. He's just froze himself completely out.
No, I'm good.
Okay, so this game is going to get completely ugly.
Yeah, my apologies. I think this game is going to get ugly in the trenches again.
Well, yeah. What hasn't been ugly in the trenches? I mean, all we've done for the last 3 years is pound the table about the trenches, ignore. How could this possibly be Fangio's fault when that is not Fangio? That's not Fangio. But go ahead. I just say, put him out of his misery. Believe me. Just like, let me ask you this question. Just curious. Offensively, what kind of system offensively do the Redskins, or former Redskins, the team with no name, what do they run offensively? What is their type of offense?
Well, they have two guys in J.D. McKissick.
I don't care about, what's the system? What's the system?
They play smash mouth football.
Well, what is it? Is it a West Coast system, or is it, a three wide receiver system?
The offensive coordinator, I believe, is Tim Kelly. He's more of that West Coast system that we saw with Kevin Stefanski.
Let me ask you this then. Okay, it's West Coast. That's what I'm trying to get established here. Okay, I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
We have Von Miller leaving. Is it out of the realm of possibility that Locke would want the fuck out of here too? Because, I tried, fuck you. How would he fare with the Redskins?
He would look 10 times better.
Yeah, because it seemed to me, while STR wants to say he's a bumbling, stumbling, that's not how he was under the West Coast system. He seemed to really grasp the West Coast system. His numbers showed that. His completion percentage showed that. You took him out. You decided to become Kansas City. Now you got the guy you want, Bridgewater. Okay, fine. I think Locke should go somewhere else. He should also say, hey, I want to go with Von Miller. I want out the door too.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think that they also have another guy on that offense named Scary Terry. I call him Scary Terry. He's a better receiver than Jerry Jeudy. And for STR to come up here and say Jerry Jeudy is going to help transform this offense again, like week one, like it's
What the fuck did he do in week one? What the fuck did he do in week one?
That's what they're pushing. I'm telling you, they're trying to find.
That is grasping for straws.
They're trying to do.
And I'll be honest with you, just totally honest. Quite frankly, that isn't fair to Jerry Jeudy. That's really not fair to him. He's coming off an injury, and if he disappoints, they'll just pile on him. And they were the ones that said this nonsense.
Yeah, and you think that he's going to be able to come back from a high ankle sprain? Those things linger.
It's just, that's not fair to him either. It's just.
He predicates all of his stuff off of route running, supposedly. And so how, he might tweak it again.
Now, let me ask you this: who picked Jerry Jeudy? Who was the guy who picked Jerry Jeudy? Who?
Elway.
Who?
Elway.
Elway.
Director of player personnel. Just want to put that in there.
So it goes to reason why he's being, he's going to be the savior. It's going to be one of Elway's picks. It's going to be the savior.
Bowles.
Well, how is who's Bowles going up? What's the guy's name who's going up with this week?
The top 3 draft pick.
So you're going to see more face masking, more pulling, more of that garbage, right?
Montez Sweat is no joke either.
I'll tell you what I would do.
I think Bobby
D lineman. I'm going to tell you what I would do if I was a D lineman. I'm watching film and I keep watching Garrett Bowles pulling his bullshit. I'd do this. I would do this. And when he comes in, I would just, right up in his, right here. That's old school. That's how we used to get it done. That's old school. I'm going to say, you're going to grab me like that. I don't care if it's a 15-yard penalty. I'm going to hit you right in where it counts. If I fucking stop your heart, oh, well, you ain't going to grab me like that again. I'm going to guarantee you. I would not put up with that. I wouldn't put up with it. I'm telling you.
And I think in this game you're going to see a lot of blitzing from the Redskins defense.
Why not?
Dude, this defense, they don't even need the blitz because with their front four, they're going to be able to get to the quarterback. I think Teddy Bridgewater just, I hope you survive this game. But, dude, do you think last week was bad? You think the week before was bad? That interior, that defensive line is 4 deep. So they can rotate those guys, and they'll be fresh and ready to go. And Jonathan Allen is one of the best. He is up there. And when you want to talk about, Draymond Jones and DeForest Buckner, Jonathan Allen's up there with the DeForest Buckner. He doesn't get the love that he gets, but they paid him. They paid him good for a reason because he is important to that interior defensive line. And he's an old school defensive lineman, too.
So basically, they're going to deconstruct our offensive line like we've seen so many times.
It's going to be another trenches game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and that offensive line for the Redskins they got a good center Rattler, his name, I believe, his last name. They have Brandon Scherf, one of the best guards in football, and they have Cornelius Lucas, right tackle, who's played very well this year. But we can't get players like that,
So when do you see Elway having to, because STRs poison the well, when do you see Elway having to relieve Fangio from this misery he's put him in?
Ooh, that's a tough question. It could be by the bye, or it could be at the end of the year.
Yeah, and I want to dispel fairy tales. Okay, now people that hang on to everything STR says and online platforms say, oh, they'll get the guy I want as a head coach. They'll get him because I want him. They'll get him. Okay, that's mental gymnastics. And what I see is they'll never get anybody with quality that'll come here. Nobody with any kind of.
No.
I mean, I was shocked that they got Fangio, that he bought into the idea that all I have to be is the defensive coordinator, and not be on the hook for all of Elway's crap. And then, of course, because everybody said you're going to be under the microscope, he goes out and gets the GM, who obviously is also a puppet as well and has no say and is just insulation. He's just an onion layer. So if you're if you're a really shit hot, you really think that you could be a good head coach, would you honestly come to the Denver Broncos?
No.
Would you not wait till some kind of real opportunity comes in?
Well, I think that's what you're going to see with this next coaching cycle. You have guys like Brian Dable. You have guys like Kellen Moore that they're going to go to way better situations in here, in my opinion.
I don't know why you'd come here.
Yeah. What are we going to get, a Jeff Fisher?
Yeah, Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso.
Yes, Elway. Yes, Elway. Yes.
Yes, Elway. Anything you say, Elway, I'll just do. Yeah. Yes, Elway. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They think that Elway's going to attract people. Oh God. And I
Yeah,
can see STR. I can see it now. STR saying that, oh, it's Elway's going to attract people. He's not going to repel them. He's going to attract people. Yeah, Justin Simmons, we paid him to chase down. Oh, good God. Good God.
All spin. All
You
spin.
can't even you cannot make this shit up. It's incredible. It's incredible. Well,
I
go
wouldn't
ahead.
be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if the I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know if it's going to happen. It might not. But I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a similar opening drive from the Redskins that we saw last week against the Browns. I wouldn't be shocked if they just marched.
How are how's no name? How are the no names running their running game?
Oh, when they're on, they're on, and they just need to set it up like the Browns did. Just keep running that ball, keep running that rock.
Yeah, watching that game, I think that game really would have got out of hand if they didn't go Shermer. There was times they went Shermer.
Obviously.
Yeah, they went Shermer when they should have left well enough alone. And if they just stuck to their game plan, I think that would have been a 30 burger.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be shocked if it's a 30 burger. And Peyton Manning's going to be inducted in the Ring of Honor this weekend. So
might as well screw that up. Yeah.
Yep.
All alumni present to watch another Elway embarrassment.
Well, I wouldn't be shocked at halftime when Manning's done with his speech. I wouldn't be shocked if he just gets on a plane and leaves. And
I'm really curious how those phone calls went with ownership with Peyton Manning and Elway. Because Elway said there's only one way, and that's if I get included and Brittany Bowling gets included.
Yep, I agree 100%. I think you brought us something up earlier that really caught my eyes. Like you thought, when do you think Fangio's going to get that, kick out the door and get free finally? I think once Miller's moved, I think he's going to be moved at the deadline. I think Fangio's going to be like, all right, I'm just going to coach the coach, and I'm done. I'm out of here.
Yeah, he's another guy that should one out. A lot of you ask, how can we defend Fangio? Well, and again, what you need to actually wrap your head around, all you people that don't understand it, who legitimately don't understand it. We keep saying this. Go back and look at Fangio's history. This defense has all of Elway's fingerprints on it.
Of course.
This defense does not look like what Fangio has normally put together. Fangio would never have his top safety running after halfbacks. That is a glaring example of what's going on here. And the fact that STR, who wants to get rid of Fangio, here's the other thing. If you bought into it, this is exactly what Simmons is supposed to do, is chase halfbacks. If that wasn't an Elway talking point, they're already trying to get Fangio out the door, the same people. Why would they not use that to say, this is how Fangio's doing? Look what Fangio's doing. They didn't do that. They're defending it. Well, how can you can't have it both ways if Fangio's so bad. Why would you not? You wouldn't be saying Simmons is supposed to be running after that. You'd be using that to get Fangio out the door. So obviously, you're taking talking points, Sports Talk Radio. You're taking talking points.
Of course they are.
Yeah, because that makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense whatsoever. Well, so who do the Broncos play after the no names?
Cowboys, I believe.
And I take it's in Dallas.
It's in Dallas.
Oh. Wow. You know what? It did did the Broncos look completely uninspired going into Cleveland?
Yes.
I mean, totally uninspired.
They looked like they didn't want to be there. It looked like that locker room was just like, yeah, I'm here to get paid. Okay.
Oh, there's something else I didn't show in the Cleveland game, and that was the special teams. It was Dave Logan actually who brought it up. He said that teams now want the Denver. Not only they're not deferring. That's that. There you go. They have no respect for the Denver defense, none whatsoever. But the special teams they have no respect for the special teams. They're wanting Spencer to come run out because they know they'll have him behind the 20 because it's a player personnel. It's not the coach. Their Broncos are depleted in player personnel. Go ahead.
They're terrible in player personnel. We saw that with the Browns. They had no respect for us. They came out and punched us in the face and like, yeah, you ain't gonna get up from this. Go back to Elway's little shack up there in the Rocky Mountains and feed your bullshit. And we're gonna continue to build a team here in Cleveland that can actually get us some wins. So.
Yeah, no. I mean, we have ownership stuck in the 90s. I mean, we're going through exactly what the Raiders went through in the same time period.
And you brought up something about how, this doesn't look like, Fangio's defense when they have Simmons come down and cover a halfback. That, what told everything to me was when they didn't go after Adrian Amos and when they traded away they didn't get Devin Bush, and then when they drafted Patrick Surtain. Just saying, those are obvious signs of Elway saying you can't get Adrian Amos, you can't get Devin Bush and Zaven Collins, and you can't get and we're just going to give you Patrick Surtain because he's the next Deion Sanders.
Corners.
We're going to pay $30 million to Ronald Darby, and we could have got him 2 years ago on a 2-year deal, $15 million.
Of course, yeah, that's Elway. That is classic Elway. And now it's a fire sale, right? Bring in Kenny Young. It's a fire sale. Oh my, oh no. Oh, who would have thunk it? We need linebacking. Oh no, you needed linebacking when Josie Jewell and Alexander Johnson were healthy.
And you could have got Jamie Davis or Zaven Collins.
The phone call went out, and it wasn't Elway. I can tell you that. That wasn't Elway.
No,
but people keep listening to sports talk radio. They lied to you. They told you Aaron Rodgers was signing. Just keep listening to them. Just keep doing it. Keep getting your information from misinformation.
And you are going to get rid of a Derek Thomas level Hall of Fame outside linebacker in Von Miller here in the next couple of days. Probably the next 48 hours, maybe longer. You're going to get rid of an Hall of Fame level linebacker. And thank you, Elway, because you're going to get rid of another good player that I have fondly enjoyed watching his growth, even when DeMarcus Ware was here. And you had to just bury that. You just had to bury the fucker. And Von Miller, I hope you go to a situation and you do good, and I hope you stick it up Elway's ass. And you just
here's the thing. I think he's going to the Rams. I think he may be going to the Rams. That seems like the most logical place to me. I think he's going to the Rams.
Donald together? Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's going to the Rams. I think that's where the deal has been.
The Saints.
Or the Saints. But I think it may be the Rams. I think this is part of the deal.
You think we get Kenny Young and then they're just coming up? We could get Leonard Floyd because you remember they were trying to get Leonard Floyd this offseason? So it might be Leonard Floyd and a pick for Von Miller. Wouldn't be shocked.
And Kenny Young.
But Kenny Young, we're just going to get rid of Kenny Young first, and then after the game, we can talk more about the Leonard Floyd deal. That's actually a good observation. I like that.
He just seems to be a perfect fit for that. I mean, if I was the Rams, I definitely would be high. That would be on my high list to get Von Miller.
In the city.
Can you imagine how happy he would be to leave Elway?
Oh my God.
Get away from Elway.
Oh my God.
The Denver Elways.
So I want to be shocked here probably Monday. Because the deadline's the 2nd. I wouldn't be shocked if something comes down Monday morning or Monday night.
Yeah. Oh, I'll include that in the show notes here. Possible trade to the Rams or possible trade Rams with a question mark.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I've got. We're going to wrap this up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yep, and we'll do the post game tomorrow. This is another 2 o'clock game, 2:30 or something, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah. All right. So,
hey, a question. They're obviously putting out those articles that Von Miller's going to get traded, and it's getting a lot of traction right now. I think your observation's dead on. I think there's something going on behind the scenes right now that we obviously know about, but the feel good fans aren't paying attention to.
No, what do they listen to? They listen to misinformation all the time. And then they got to sit there and you do mental gymnastics to try to figure it all out. So, they just let them have their, we'll just continue being right as usual.
Yep.
And why they go, yeah.
All righty.
Up theirs, exactly.
All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Take care.
Yep, bye.
Bye.